Okay, Hazaka Baruch, and good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful Wednesday morning, Erev Rosh Chodesh, as we are studying Parashat Pekudey. Our Parasha says, chapter 39, Pasuk 33. After the Jewish people brought all of the materials, they made all of the clothing of the Kohen Gadol. Here we go. Vayaviu et ha-mishkan el Moshe. They brought the Mishkan to Moshe. Et ha'oel ve'et kol kelav. Kerasav, Kerashav, Berachav, Amudav, Anav. So the pasuk sounds like they brought all the materials to Moshe, the coverings, the vessels, from A to Z. Says Rashi, very important Rashi, quoting the Midrash Tanhuma. Says Rashi, quoting the Midrash, Shelo hayu yecholin lehakimo. Why did they come to Moshe? They came to Moshe because they had a problem. They weren't able to assemble it. Okay? There was something wrong with the instructions. It wasn't assembling properly. Ufi shelo asa Moshe shum melacha b'mishkan. Says Rashi, and why did that happen? Why did Hashem wanted that Moshe should be the one that would be able to properly assemble it? Because Moshe didn't really have anything to do with the Mishkan. He wasn't so involved. Betzalel was the contractor. Hiniach lo HaKadosh Baruch Hu hakamato. God left for Moshe the assembly. Because no one was really capable of erecting the Mishkan. Why? What was so difficult? Because the beams, the walls of the Mishkan was so heavy. No one was able to erect them. No one was able to stand them up. Moshe was able to do it. But before he did, when they came and said, okay, Moshe, we give up. You do it. Amar Moshe l'fnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. God, Moshe says to God, how, God, am I to stand these up? Mankind is too weak to erect such beams. Amar lo, God answered, Asokata beyadecha. You do with your hands what you must. Act as if you're doing something. V'nir'eh kimkimo v'hu niskaf v'kam elav. But really, it will stand up on its own. And that's what it means. When we're going to read later on, the pasuk says, this is going to be in chapter 40, pasuk 17. The pasuk says, Vahi b'chodesh harishon b'shana hashenit be'ehad lachodesh on Rosh Chodesh Nisan hukam hamishkan. What does that mean? Hukam hamishkan. The tabernacle was erected by itself. Not Moshe, not the Jewish people. It was all an illusion. Moshe, you do what you need to. You move your hands. You act as if you're building, as if you're assembling. But really, hukam me'elav. The work is going to be done by itself. And over here, Zichron Meir, Rabbi Rootman, has an amazing yesod. And we learn from here something very powerful. Al hashivut inyan ha'amal. When it comes to effort, when it comes to toil. You know, our rabbis tell us, Adam le'amal yulad. That means man was created to toil. We were put in this world to work hard. It's not a question. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Hashem created a world that we must work hard in. We are here to work. Matter of fact, the Chavot and the Avot asks the obvious question, why? Most animals don't have to work so hard. Their parnassah is there for them. You ever saw a lion? Lion sleeps all day. And he gets up, he eats, he goes back to sleep. Every animal has their food ready for them in the world. But for man, all of a sudden it's very complicated. You have to go, and you have to plant, and you have to do, and sales, and invoices, and mail orders, and returns, and there's so much work. It's complicated to be a person. Much simpler to be an animal. Why did Hashem create such a complicated system? Why so much effort? Why so much toiling? Answers Chavot Avot. Two answers. We're just going to give the one that pertains to us. And he says, because if man wasn't busy working, just imagine how much sin he would be involved in. Look at the world, by the way, on days off. Look on the world when there is no work. When there is no work, everyone is running and doing sin. Crime is high. Everybody is getting drunk. Everybody is gambling. My Rebbe used to say, thank God for sports. If not for sports, you would have millions and millions of bored Americans on a Sunday with nothing to do. That is very dangerous, right? Baruch Hashem for sports. Thank God we have this distraction. But says the Chavot of Avot, that is why God created the concept of amelut, Adam le'amal yulad. But we have to remember, shelo kebe'inyanei haguf, when it comes to working for materialistic things, it's very different than when we work for spiritual things. Because when we work for money, when we work for physical things, sham ha'amal eno ella emtsa'i letachlit mesuyemet. That means, why do you go to work? Why do we exert effort? The reason we exert effort in the physical world is because it's a means to an end. Why do you work out? Why do you go jogging? Right? The jogging is a means to an end. You don't actually care about the jogging part. You care about the losing the weight part. You care about having strong muscles part, right? If there was a way to take some type of drug that could give you those muscles, you would do it, right? Many athletes do try. They take things that are cheat sheets, right? The goal is to have the muscles. The goal is not the working out per se. There was once a guy jogging in the park. A guy pulled over. He's like, "Hey, do you want to lift?" Right? No, you don't. Right? We don't want to lift. The goal's not to just go from point. The goal is to build muscle, and that's why I need to jog. I'm jogging so that I can build muscle. But really, if there was a way to build muscle without jogging, we would do it. Right? We work. Why do we work? To make money. But the working part is not the ikar. The focus is not the working. The focus is the making money part. We work in order to make money. But let's say one was able to make money without working. Amazing. But that's not how it is in the spiritual realm. Very different. Ve'inyanim ruhaniyim, when it comes to spirituality, ha'amal atzmo hu ha'tachlit. It is actually the effort that's not the means to an end, but the effort is the ends themselves. Really, we are here, and we have to know this very important rule. When it comes to spirituality, we don't get judged for the results. We get judged for the effort, for the torah, for the amelut that we put into it. And that is why after 120, Hashem's not going to ask you how much did you accomplish. Hashem's going to ask you how hard did you try. That's the only question that really matters to Hashem. We get judged not for the work. We get judged for the effort. In this world, all we care about is the results. You know, after someone finishes a masechet, they do what's called a siyum. They make a beautiful party, and they read a paragraph. And in this paragraph, there's a line, a very interesting line. The line goes like this. Anu amelim vehem amelim. And the person here is comparing and thanking Hashem for their lot in Torah. And he says like this. We work hard, and they work hard. We work hard and get rewarded, and they work hard, and they don't get rewarded. Anu amelim ve'mekablim sachar, hem amelim ve'enna mekablim sachar. And all of the rabbis wonder and they ask, what does that mean? They work hard and they don't get rewarded? Sure they do. Look around the world. Look at all the wealthy people. Look at all the athletes. Look at all the musicians. They work very hard. They get very rewarded. They have a lot of money. What do you mean? Hem amelim ve'enna mekabelim sachar. Of course they get sachar. No one works for free. The Chafetz Chaim says, it's true. They get rewarded. But they don't get rewarded for their work. They get rewarded for the results. They don't get rewarded for the amelut, for the toil. And here's the proof. You go to an athlete that spent his whole life preparing for the Olympics. And he tried and tried and tried very, very hard. And at the end of the day, goes to the Olympics and he performs. And he doesn't make it, not into the gold, not in the silver, not in the bronze. At the end of the day, only one person gets the gold. Everyone else, they come and they say, Mr. Judge, I tried. I tried. You know what the judge says? Hazaku Baruch. You get an A for effort. But we don't care about trying. We only care about one thing. Who has the most points? Who's did it in the fastest time? That's the only thing that matters. They get rewarded, but not for their effort. They get rewarded for the results, for the score. When a person in business tries very hard and he works very hard on an account, and then he comes to the boss at the end of the month and he says, listen, boss, I'm here for my paycheck. The boss says, no problem. How many sales did you make? He says, I didn't make any. But I tried very hard. And look at all my emails to prove it. The boss says, well, whip-de-doo. No sales, no commission. I don't care how hard you tried. I need to see the money. I want to see the results. That is the world that we live in this world. Hem amelim ve'enam mekablim sachar. A person can work very, very, very hard and not see a penny from it. And by the way, the opposite is also true. You can have someone who doesn't work really hard at all. And he got very lucky and he made one big sale and he makes the big bucks. This world is a results-oriented world. Results-based. That's all we care about. We don't care about really efforts. They always say, you get A for effort. Hazak baruch. What's that worth? You have kids in school that try very hard and they barely could, scratch a 75. And then you have another kid who's born brilliant, high IQ. He does zero work. He quickly reads the notes for 2 minutes before the test. The kid gets a 98. Who do you think is getting valedictorian? The valedictorian is going to the kid who got the 98, although he didn't try very hard. But that's all in this world. When it comes to spirituality, it's the exact opposites. Anu amelim v'mekablim sachar. Hashem looks at one thing and one thing only. He doesn't look at the score. He doesn't look at who has the higher mark. He doesn't look who has more sales. For Hashem, the opposite is true. Hashem says, I care how hard did you try. And if you have two people that one tried very, 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 very hard, but was not gifted with a brain, but he tried very hard, and the other person didn't try as hard as he could have, and this other person maybe wrote more books and accomplished much more, Hashem says, but how hard did you try? And it's very possible in Hashem's eyes, the first person is given more sachar. The first person is given the real reward goes to the first guy. The gold goes to the first person because he tried his hardest and he knows that he did his best. Hashem says, listen, results are up to me. Your job is to do what you must. Rabbi saying Birkei Avot, Chapter 2, Lo alecha hamlacha ligmor. It's not up to you to finish the project. It's not up to you to finish. However, Lo ata ben horin li batel mina. It doesn't now excuse you from not having to work at all. Person thinks about how much Torah there is to learn. You have all of Chumash, 5 books, Bereshit, Shemot, Vayikra, Bamidbar, Devarim. You have all of Navi, the 8 books of Navi, Yehoshua, Shoftim, etc. You have the 11 books of prophets, okay, Tehillim, Mishle, Iyov, all of them. Then you have the commentaries on each one. And we didn't even start yet, we just did Tanakh. Then you have Shas. You have Mishnah, you have Gemara, you have all the commentaries on the Mishnah and the Gemara, Rashi, Tosafot, Rashba, Ritva. Then, I'm not even done. You have the Rishonim, you have the Acharonim. Then you have all of Halacha, you have the Shulchan Aruch, you have starting much earlier, the Tur, the Rif, the Rambam, Bet Yosef, the Bach, all the commentaries on Halacha, all of the shoots, all of the responses, starting from the earliest, Terumat HaDeshen, going all the way till modern day rabbis. Good luck. Get started. 100 lifetimes, maybe we won't finish. Lo alecha hamlacha ligmor. But it's not up to finish. It's not up to us to finish. You know what's our job? Our job is to do what we must in making sure that we at least try. Hashem will judge us for the effort and nothing more. The Chafetz Chaim was known to say, it's not up to us to achieve, but to act. Many times there's a project and we wonder, how is this going to finish? How are we going to do this? It doesn't make sense. And God says it doesn't have to make sense. It's not up to you to finish it either. Leave that up to me. I'll make sure it gets done. Your job is to begin. Like our rabbis say, Pitchu li petach kechudo shel machat. Make for me a hole, just a hole. Your job is to make a hole. I'll do the rest. But you must begin. It's not up to us to calculate. How's it going to be? What's going to happen? It's too complicated. There's so many ifs and buts. Achievement is not up to us. That's Hashem's domain. And God says to Moshe, don't worry about how it will stand. Don't worry that it's too heavy. Your job is to begin. Your job is to take the first step into the water. What will happen after that? How is that going to save us from the Egyptians chasing us? Leave that up to me. I'll make sure something happens. Your job, lo alecha hamlacha ligmor. Your job is to begin. Let man begin, and then God will come and do the rest. You know, one of my favorite stories is a beautiful, I don't know if it's a true story, but it's a beautiful mashal. There was once a fellow standing, walking along the seashore. He was walking back and forth on the beach, and all of a sudden he notices a guy standing there, and there are all these starfish that are washed up onto shore, and they're drying out in the sun. So he watches, he notices this man bends down, he picks up a starfish, and he starts throwing it back into the water. He throws the starfish back into the water. And he bends down and he picks up another starfish and he throws it back into the water. Now you have to imagine, there's thousands and thousands of starfish. And so this fellow walks over to that guy who's bending down, throwing them back into the water. And he says, I don't understand. What exactly are you trying to accomplish? Do you think you're going to finish all the starfish? There's tens of thousands. You're not going to be able to finish this. Well, you're not going to be able to make a difference. And the man listens, he looks at him, he nods, he bends down, he picks up another starfish, and he throws it back in. And he turns back to the man and he says, it made a difference to that one, didn't it? Our job is not to finish. Velo ata ben chorin, but it doesn't mean that we have the right to not at least try. We must try. Often we see so many poor people. We wonder, oh my gosh, how are we going to help all of these aniyim? How are we going to help all of these organizations? How are we going to help all of these yeshivot? How are we going to help all of these kolelim? How are we going to help all of these food pantries? It's true. It's true. It looks like it's insurmountable. It looks like it's going to be way too hard to knock out and to accomplish. But you know what? Lo alecha hamlacha ligmor. It's not up to you to calculate that. Your job is to do what you can, to do the best that you can. You can't support all the aniyim. Hashem never asked you to. Hashem asked you to give your 10%. He asked you to give your ma'aser, to give what you can, to do your Torah, to do your efforts. Moshe Rabbeinu, it looks like impossible to pick up and to build the Mishkan. How are we going to do it? It's too heavy. You're right. But try. Take the first step. Person wonders, how am I going to ever get married? It's too hard, this whole dating thing. I can't ever see myself living with someone. It's just not for me, this whole marriage. I can't. To live with someone and to share and to do, I can't. It's not up to you to calculate everything. Our job is to do what we must, to at least try. Hashem's not going to ask you, did you do it? Hashem's going to ask you, did you try? As long as we could say yes to that question, and I tried my best, then this person will be given the reward as if they got the gold. Again, maybe they didn't write as many books as Rav Ovadia Yosef. Maybe they didn't support as many organizations as the greatest philanthropists in Jewish history. Maybe they didn't accomplish all of the great things. But if I did my best, anu amelim, I tried the hardest, that's all Hashem could ever ask of us. Because really, the results are in His hands anyways. We can't ever really do anything. Really, all we can do is try. If we think about it, if we're honest, the results is up to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. How am I going to, pray? It's impossible. The doctor said it's over. We tried so many things. That's not up to you. Your job is to do what you must. Chizkiah HaMelech, one of the greatest Jewish kings. Very rare to have a good Jewish king. We didn't have many. Chizkiah was one of them. And the Navi comes and says, my dear king, please prepare your will. He says, what? Why? I'm a good guy. I did all the mitzvot. He says, you did all the mitzvot? You didn't even do the first one. You didn't have children. Chizkiah says, yeah, you know why I didn't have children? Because I saw Beruach HaKodesh that they're going to be evil. They're going to infiltrate Israel with Avodah Zarah. You know what the Navi said back? That's not your business. You're thinking about results. Results is in Hashem's domain. Your domain is effort. You try your hardest and leave the rest up to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So this is an amazing, amazing idea, an amazing concept that we learn really from Moshe Rabbeinu. Realistically, there's no way he could build the Mishkan, but try. And once a person tries their best, then Hashem says, Ma'aleh alav hakatuv, I'll make it, as if you're the one that did it. Hashem should help all of us and bless all of us to be able to put our energy, to put our effort, to try our best. And then in Be'ezat Hashem, all the good results will follow. We'll stop over here. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. God willing, we'll see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.